If you don't have enough light in your shot, it's gonna suck. I'm Justin from Filmora.io, and I'm gonna show you how to shoot in low light. Tonight I found myself in beautiful Whistler, British Columbia, and this place comes alive at night, so I want to make sure that I capture this for my travel video. When shooting in low light conditions, the camera naturally tries to make up for the lack of light by bumping up its ISO, but that means that it adds unwanted noise and grain to your image. This is not what you want, so here are a few tips on how to shoot in low light while still maintaining your image quality. Well, first things first, when you're in an environment with little light, go to the areas with as much light as you can. For me, that's this fireplace, especially if you're filming yourself. And I wouldn't want to stand directly in front of the light. Instead of having the light right in front of my face, just turn to the side a little bit. It adds a little bit more depth and it's a more interesting image to look at because there's a little bit of shadows. So naturally, find natural light. Probably one of your best options to get really good quality images in low light is to use a really good lens. And a good lens means a fast lens. So what I'm using right now is a 50mm 1.8 lens. And this is a really good lens to use in low light. I would not be able to capture these images that I'm about to get with an f4 lens. So I'm gonna get a couple different shots of me crawling through this cave. One of them is gonna be using my f4 lens and the other is gonna be using the f1.8 lens. And as you can see, the f4 lens is a lot darker than the f1.8 lens. If you want to get really good images at nighttime, getting a faster lens will really help you. However, one downside to using a fast lens is they are usually at a fixed focal length, which means you can't zoom in or zoom out. So during the day, I usually like to use my f4 lenses because I have a lot of versatility and I can zoom in and zoom out. But in lower light situations, having a faster lens really does help. Another option for bringing more light into your image is by lowering your shutter speed. However, I wouldn't bring your shutter speed too low. For example, if I'm shooting at 30 frames a second, I wouldn't lower my shutter speed lower than 1/30th of a second. After that, you really start to see a lot of motion blur. But that's only if you're shooting action. If you have a static object or if you're just shooting a landscape, you can bring your shutter speed quite a ways down and not notice any motion blur. But it all depends on your situation. So you can do that if you're in a pinch. When it comes to getting more light into your camera, ISO is probably one of the last things that you want to touch. Like I said before, bumping up your ISO does give you more light, but it adds unwanted grain and noise to your image, which you don't want. It brings the quality down. Every camera is different. For me today, I'm using the Sony 6300, and I do not want to pass 3200 ISO, but every camera is different. So make sure that you do the research on your camera at what the max ISO is. Before touching your ISO, try playing around with your shutter speed and your aperture. Those will help you before ISO does. Sometimes there's just not enough light. So that's where one of these comes in handy. And this is an LED panel. It's super light, it fits in my backpack, and I take it everywhere that I go if I know that I'm gonna be filming at nighttime. And this is really great because I can actually mount it on top of my camera. So wherever the camera is pointing, there will be light. This is a very good investment. Okay, got a toboggan and a hill. Let's see how this one goes. Well, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new about filming in low light. Please subscribe to this channel and join Filmora.io, your YouTube creator community.